tell us, 3 days out, do you have a prediction as to who is going to win?
As of right now, if the election were held today, it would be Kamala Harris. It would be a narrow win, but we're seeing some early vote information and some polling information here at the end that is giving me a reasonable understanding that Wisconsin and Michigan have moved in the right direction for her. That Georgia is a narrow crapshoot. I mean, that could be a race decided by 10,000 votes either way. And that Pennsylvania is looking increasingly promising as well. Given the character of the early vote, Donald Trump is going to have a very, 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 very big day on Tuesday with Election Day turnout to pull this out.
And that's because you're looking at early postal votes coming into the system
Right.
that are indicating for Harris.
That's correct. And when you look at Pennsylvania, for instance, you're looking at the Democrats having a meaningful about half the vote is already in Pennsylvania. The Democrats have had a meaningful advantage in early vote. And a lot of the newly registered voters in Pennsylvania, even the ones who have not voted yet, those folks are at this point looking more female, more educated, and younger. Those are things that lean very much in Harris's favor. We're also seeing a drop-off for Trump among college-educated men. This is, in addition, we'd already seen college-educated women drift away from Trump. But college-educated men, if he doesn't sustain a very good number with them, that's the ball game. It'll be over at that point. And he, like I said, he's going to depend on a massive Election Day turnout that is going to be very difficult to pull off.
When you look at the numbers, what seems to be the key indicator for you that Harris is going to win, outside of looking at those college-educated, whether they be men or women? What's happening with the blue-collar vote in particular, and also with older voters? Are those numbers going the right way for Harris as well?
The older voters are shifting. No, look, older voters have traditionally been the stock and trade of the Republican Party. They are the heart and soul of the GOP. We are seeing some drop off of older voters among Trump, and even if he sustains a 4 to 5% loss of older voters, again, ball game. That is going to be very difficult for him to sustain enough momentum going into Election Day where he has the ability to do that big turnout on Election Day. And what we're seeing as of this moment is that Elon Musk and Turning Point USA, they outsourced all their field operation. And that was a sort of tactical and strategic mistake of a pretty high proportion, because Harris has been out knocking on doors. They've been out with a massive state-to-state field operation in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada, that has been identifying older voters that were more likely to vote for Harris, and they've been able to tap those people. And if you've got about 55% of older women right now voting for Harris, and the last poll I saw was 55-42. That's a major demographic chunk, and she's doing a lot better with them than Joe Biden. The difference between Biden and Trump was only about 3 points. Now hers is, about 10. This is a really meaningful voting shift that I think is going to hurt. And I think is going to hurt Trump on Election Day. And again, if you combine that loss with the increase in younger women who are voting, and they're voting almost, in our polling, 9 cases out of 10 of younger women. Why are you registering to vote this year? We asked them why they were registering this year, what their main issue was. It was abortion. It was the Dobbs decision.
You think abortion is going to be the game changer for?
I think it is the decisive issue. I think it is the decisive issue.
And why do you think that is this time around? Because is there a sort of shift in cultural opinion over the last 10 years? Abortion, here in Britain, we've always scratched our heads and wondered why it's such a major political issue in America. But it's never counted from my memory in the way that it is counted in this election as you're describing it.
Particularly with younger voters, younger women in particular. The Dobbs decision catalyzed an upset in what had been a uncomfortable but functional political compromise in America. There are nobody in America wakes up and says, "Yay, I love abortion. It's my favorite thing." It's a painful issue. It's a personal issue. But most Americans believe that it should be between the woman's doctor and her religious practices. Between a woman, her doctor, and her God was a phrase that's been used a lot. Yeah. Rightly. That nervous tension, that uncomfortable tension, was that Roe v. Wade codified abortion rights in this country, but also had some sensible restrictions on it, for late-term abortions and things like that. And of course, even places that restricted abortion had exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the mother. Now, the Dobbs decision blew up that compromise. And you saw a lot of states with Republican legislative bodies passing laws with 6-week, 10-week, 12-week abortion bans. And we have seen a concomitant medical crisis among American women. We are seeing American women dying because of these restrictions. We've seen this happening over and over again, where women are denied health care because doctors are afraid that if they provide them with health care, then they will be put in prison. We've seen this in Texas. We've seen this in Alabama. We've seen this in a number of other states with Republican legislatures. Florida, another one. Women are rightly very pissed off politically about this. They are pushing back on it. It is, and Trump is
it's a backlash from it, right? Well, you're saying it's a backlash.
Yeah, the backlash is quite meaningful. And Trump is the guy who went around bragging, "I overturned Roe v. Wade. I'm the guy that got rid of Roe v. Wade." And that is going over, like the proverbial lead balloon.
So from what you're saying is that the way this election is shaking down at this late stage, only days out, is actually that was a miscalculation from Trump, from the GOP, that actually if they went in hard on their, call it a victory inverted commas, when it comes to abortion, that somehow that would count for them. But actually, from what you're saying, is counting against them.
It is their base was already maxed out on this issue. Right. Their base was already completely flush on this issue, and you had gotten all the Republican votes you were going to get on the question of abortion. Democrats were of the mind, okay, well, Roe is forever. It's not going to go away. We're going to be fine, and it really didn't work out that way. It really did go away. It really did end up in a situation where it had fallen quickly and fallen calamitously in the minds of a lot of American women. They felt betrayed, they felt shocked, they felt angry, and you can't blame them when you have a candidate out not just reveling in it, but bragging. I'm the one who got rid of Roe. I killed Roe. Everybody wanted me to do it, so I did it. And that has been, he has had to learn a painful political lesson on this. He's tried to backtrack on it. He's tried to retroactively, rewrite history about it. It's not working for him for a lot of reasons. And this idea that you're going to have, an ability after you've bragged about ending Roe v. Wade to convince women that you didn't get rid of Roe v. Wade, it doesn't work.
Do you think young Americans are demographically, do you think, especially you talked about earlier on, young educated women, do you think they are more progressively minded than those from more senior generations, that actually Harris has managed to tap into a more culturally aware, less deferential generation of young women?
Interestingly, what I think you really saw Harris do is she took a kind of conservative position on abortion. That was, it's none of government's damn business. That appealed to a lot of younger voters who are skeptical of government. But she also simultaneously was talking about improving their economic lives, giving them economic opportunity, and being a leader who wasn't going to ignore the fact that there is a crisis in this country of homeowner affordability, of educational opportunity. All the things that she's talking about in parallel with this has made her a very appealing candidate to younger voters.
When it comes to polling day, is there anything that Trump can do? Or do you think that actually, from what you seem to be saying, Rick, is actually this is going to turn into a bit of a slam dunk for Harris? That all of this talk about it being a contested result and it being so narrowly close, and we're all going to, us Brits flying over and everybody flying over to Washington, and the election, we're all going to have to stay there for weeks on end as it's fought out over in the courts. You seem to be saying right now, the way the numbers are moving, actually, Harris could be sort of home and dry by the weekend.
Look, Trump will contest this election. He will fight against the outcome of this election, no matter what. But it's a lot harder now than it was in 2020 to do that. They may resort to violence against polling places. We are worried about that. We think that is a meaningful and concerning question right now. We're not comfortable with where with where the rhetoric and the tone of Trump's inner circle has been on this question. There are some people there who are saying we're going to the mattresses, which is an American mob movie phrase for we're going to war. That concerns me. I am hopeful that they will see the light. I am hopeful they will understand that another January 6th deeply harmed the Republican Party. If they try another one, it will destroy it. So, we are concerned about that, but we are also, guardedly optimistic that this race is going to turn out with an electoral college win and a popular vote win that will give America a moment to reset after Trump, because we really do need a reset. At the end of this Trump era, Americans really want a change and a reset in the way we do politics in this country.
Just on that's an interesting point. It was one of my questions that I had down to ask you. Is this the end? If Trump loses, is this the end of Trump?
It's the end of Trump.
Do you see him coming back in 4 years?
Well, he's going to be 85 in 4 years, so I'm not as worried about that. But Trump will continue to control the Republican Party as long as he is alive. He will that will not change. He will control the Republican Party until he is 6 feet under, and that control of the GOP is something that will distort the ability of that party to come back from the damage he has done. Look, there are about 7,500 elected positions in America. Republicans have lost about 1,000 of them since 2016. They do control the House right now. They're tied in the Senate right now, but they've lost a lot of the faith and belief by American citizens that they should be trusted because of Trump's erratic behavior, because of the chaos, because of the ugliness. All of that has combined in a way that that Republicans should welcome the end of Trump, but he will be a very powerful influence on that party for a very long time to come.
Because of course you have a Republican background. That was your sort of alma mater, and now of course you've switched. Do you think that actually it will be very difficult for the Republicans to create an argument to find a new leader once Trump has exited stage left? That actually they don't have a narrative without Donald Trump. They're kind of done for.
Donald Trump in 2016. This was for the Republican Party. They thought for a moment this was a great gift and an opportunity. In 2016, Donald Trump activated a lot of low propensity voters, people who were not frequent flyers, as they say, people who were not going to vote in every election, and activating those people on the surface looked like a real benefit for the Republican Party. It looked like a real plus for the GOP. The problem turned out to be that those voters were interested in Donald Trump. They are not as turned on by generic Republican XYZ. They're not as turned on by a Nikki Haley or a Ron DeSantis. Those people came into the party because Trump drew them there. When he's off the stage, some of those people will go back to sleep. Some will stay involved and active, but most of them will go back to sleep. And as the case for Trump, having a historical influence on the party over a long period of time, it's like a lot of authoritarians. The party is strong when the party leader is there. No one in Iraq today goes, "Oh, I'm a proud Ba'ath Party member because of Saddam." They once the authoritarian is off the scene, their power wanes when they don't have political control, and he won't have political control after multiple losses, except in the Republican primary space. In that space, he's going to have control for a long time.
And that means that he's going to be around for a long time in terms of right-wing politics in America.
Yes, and to the damage of the Republican Party, one of the things he's going to do is continue to suck money out of the system for himself. He is very much into making money. That is his most successful job he's ever had, most successful business he's ever run, is email fundraising from Republican donors. He will keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. He will tease that he's going to run again. He will tease that he has to, keep up the fight for them, but it's not going to work. It's going to these bled his donors dry. He's going to keep doing it. It's going to hurt though people downstream in the political ecosystem.
But it's also not good for American democracy, right?
Oh God, no.
If you have a system where actually he's going to, and I am asking you this with your Republican background, it's not good to have one party in which, in your view, is going to be hamstrung by a leader who refuses to go away.
Look, I am a strong believer that America needs viable multiple political parties. I think that America needs a center-right political party. I don't like one-party states anywhere. I think they always end up problematic. Left-wing places in America can be very corrupt and very insular and very bad in managing their affairs, just like far right-wing places can be. New Jersey is a crazily corrupt state, and it's very much strongly left-wing. So, Florida is a corrupt state. It's strongly right-wing. I don't think one-party systems are good for democracy in a broad sense. So I would love to see two parties that are able to go out and compete with one another, that are able to go out and engage with one another in ways that lead to a better synthesis of ideas and of a competing set of intellectual frameworks for policy. Right now, we don't have that. Right now, we have a Republican Party that is exclusively driven by Donald Trump.
If there's one person, this is my final question to you, if there's one person that you think has the charisma, has the strength, has the integrity to lead right-wing America again, or right-wing, be a standard bearer for the right in America, who do you think it is?
Right now, I would have told you Nikki Haley when she was still running for president, but she collapsed herself. But I'm going to say it won't be popular with my Republican MAGA friends, but Liz Cheney. She is a conservative in every way, believes in limited government, low taxes, strong national defense, all the things that conservatives claim they believe in. She's just not a Trump person.
But that's interesting because Liz Cheney, Trump went after her this week, right?
Yes, he went after her this week. He threatened her this week. And look, we all understand who Donald Trump is at this point. We get that he is a bully, and threatening Liz Cheney, and as he's threatened a lot of other people, like saying he's going to use the military to go after his political opponents. It doesn't surprise me, but it does sicken me.
Rick Wilson, thank you very much for your time. I'm really grateful.